All right, hey guys, what is going on? This is Jew coming to you with another comic book review. So before I get started, yes, I do those. I do those comic book reviews. I do film reactions, trailer reactions, podcast commentating, anything recommended. Leave that down below. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this. And once again, it's been a busy few months for me, so I've slowed down on the reviews every week. The days are getting a little longer in between, but anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this week. I'm continuing to read the series of Predator versus Wolverine. This is more of an action film. I mean, the action book with a lot of scenery, a lot of good scenery, fights between Wolverine and pretty much the X Force. So it kind of goes further back when he was part of the X with Sabretooth and some of the other guys. What is it, Maverick and some of those guys. They fell into this situation where they were I would say they were hired as like assassins or something like that. And they ran into Predators. I read issue 1. This is issue 2 actually. So this one just came out earlier this week. The middle of the week, obviously on Wednesday. And it's actually pretty interesting. It's pretty good. There's a lot of action, a lot of fights. The battle is freaking hectic and crazy and very violent. I like it. I would tell you, it's not. There's a little bit of a good storyline to it, but it's not like super heavy as far as reading dialogues and stuff like that. But I would say it's worth the read. And I would say, yeah, if you, for one, like I said, for me, what I said before, I am a Predator fan. I grew up watching all the Predators movies, AVP. Far as goes back to Arnold, to Donald Glover, and I'm trying to remember Predator 3. That one I don't even think that exists. I don't know why I even thought of that. But anyways, AVP, I watched both of those. I watched the Predators. I watched the most recent one that had the giant Predator on it with the dogs and all that stuff. Anyways, I'm also a Wolverine X-Men fan, so this was quite a very interesting one to jump into. I'm not sure how many issues are going to be of this series, but it's only on issue 2. So if you haven't read any of it, go ahead and grab both of them and give them a read. I recommend it. I think it's really good. I think it's very interesting. It's something different. And you're also intertwined. And, I've read the Predator Marvel, the last 2 volumes. I've read the last 2. I think the last one I didn't like that much. The one before was okay. There was some skepticism in some of the stuff that went down in the books, but they're okay. I think they're being a little too soft a little bit, but even though it's still violent, but I think the realisticness was a little soft. But this is it. This is there's some things going on that's like, no, they're really making Predator who he is. He's him. These Predators. This one actually, the first one was only one. This one he brought it back up. So it was a whole group of them attacking the part of the some of the X-Men and obviously Wolverine, and then there was like military guys too that were being brutally, savagely killed. But yeah, Predator versus Wolverine, definitely a good one. All right, so I'm jumping into a new series from Image. It's called Edenwood. This one is a good one. So there's usually weeks where I jump into new ones and I don't like them. This one's actually pretty good. It's hold on. It's actually pretty good. It's about these group of I don't know what it's about. I mean, I do know what it's about, but it starts off with a group of kids, teenagers. They're going to this enchanted lake, enchanted woods. It's supposed to be like something special about it. Anyways, they got it mapped out. They went out there, and some of the kids got separated, and there was a kid, there was a girl. They were a couple, and one was a sister of one, one was a brother, one was a friend of one, whatever. There was a connection between all the kids. The couple got lost because the girl went after looking for a boyfriend. He was hiding, so and so. Anyway, she was looking for a dog, and the dog got out there, and they got spread out and fell deeper into the woods, and they run into this. They run into these military guys that were savagely, brutally killed, and it turns out they have demons inside of them, and they ran into this guy they call him a demon killer, and well, they did, he did. The boyfriend, when he was looking for his girlfriend, he ran to the demon killer, and the guy says, "Yeah." He asks the guy, like, "Have you seen my girlfriend? I've been looking for her." He said, "Yeah, I saw a girl maybe 3 years ago." He's like, "No, this had to be 5 minutes ago." He lets him know. He said, "Out here, 5 minutes could be 5 years." You know, like, so it's almost like he walked into a time zone in the Edenwoods. It's something going on out there, and so the guy's out there letting him know. So he keeps up and follows him, but it kind of jumps to 3 years later, and it looks like the boy ends up being one of the demon killers or hunters or whatever you would call them, and they're still being outsmarted by these demons. And I'm assuming at the end the kids reunite as adults, uh, or something. There's some group of people, but they're young adults, but they show up, and they're checking out the scenery, and the demon hunter obviously ran into an issue. I don't want to tell too much, but I'll say this: this is a really, I call it a demon hunter. What are we playing? Diablo? No, I'm just playing. But yeah, this is a really good. This is. I'm definitely going to keep reading this. This is written by Tony S. Daniel. I don't know who that is. I don't recall reading any of his books, but just through Image Comics, and this is issue 1, so it's just now getting started. So if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out. And yep. All right, so continue the series of Void Rival. I've read all 4 so far. This is issue 5, Void Rival. If you're unfamiliar with Void Rival, this is also through Image Comics. This is part of the same universe with Transformers, and yeah. So obviously in issue 1, yeah, Jetfire showed his face in issue 1, and then after that, so this earlier this month, Transformers edition came out, and we read that as well. And Void Rivals is getting quite interesting, I gotta say. The 2 different humanoid species, what is it, Zoratonians, and they have names. I haven't memorized them yet, but there's 2 of them. There's a female, there's a guy. It started where they had ran into each other. They had a crash landing on the moon or something like that. And they're not supposed to have anything to do with each other. They're supposed to be rivals, and I guess that's why it's called Void Rivals. Anyways, they go back, and she decides that they're not going to go to separate ways, and she pulls him into a pod and takes him back to her place. Well, her side of the planet where he's not supposed to be seen with her, and she's not supposed to be seen with him because their species are rivals. And there's some twist going on here because they get back and they capture him, and it turns out one of the Zortonians, like higher rankings, turns out to be someone else, and I'm not gonna get too far into that, but they go ahead and they detain both of them. They detain the guy first, and then they detain her because they feel like she was protecting him because she was trying to tell him not to do this to this. They was like, "No, you know what? You go in there too." Well, in this one, they're still having their issues, but it turns out he ends up getting some help from the other side as well. So I ain't gonna tell too much of this. Anyway, there's some good stuff in here. I gotta tell you, keep reading, because if I keep talking, I'm gonna tell you too much. Void Rivals issue 5. I recommend you read the whole series. It's quite interesting, and it leaves you waiting for the next issue to see how this ends up, especially with the little twist going on with some of the higher rankings on of the species. So yeah, Void Rivals, very good book. Image Comics, written by Robert Kirkman, Lorenzo de Felici. Sounds like some Italians or something. Patricio Del Pace, I don't know. All right, I recommend it. I got some more I'm going to read. I got Hellboy coming up. I'm still continuing to read the Penguin series, and I did read Cyberpunk. That was awful. So I'm not even going to do a review of that. I probably should have, but I'll let you. If you want to read that yourself, you'll read it yourself. But anyways, that's all I got this week with the comics. I recommend y'all to read all three that I just went over. So see you in the next one.